Okay, today I'll talk on something that I've spoken about individually many times before. Probably I haven't spoken specifically on this. So, this is more in the nature of a public service announcement. And that is, don't mix the streams when you're doing processes. Don't jumble them all up and uh, don't jumble up processes and do some mishran, some khichdi, some weird and strange mixture and think that I'll get the maximum benefit out of this by mixing up things. The reason I say so is I get a lot of mail from a lot of people, and most of their troubles come from mixing inappropriate practices together. The standard mess that I find is people will do all kinds of wild A intersection B of processes. And the strangest and the most usual mistake that people do is mantras. Many of you have heard me say कि ये mantra japa hai कि grantha japa hai, because they won't do any one mantra at a time. They will do 5-6 simultaneously, very often more. They have mantras for the morning, mantras for the evening, mantra for my son to pass the exam, my daughter to get married, my husband to get a promotion. Now, I have become tired of saying this, that a mantra is vibration. A mantra is not the meaning of the words. The vibration has to settle into your body, into your mind, into your tissues, into your emotion, and slowly start transforming the Shakti. Now, if you are saying 5-6 mantras simultaneously, you've created one big traffic jam. 5 or 6 channels of Shakti are competing and contending within you. Through what channel is the Shakti supposed to come in? And transform you and bring about the result that you desire. One mantra at a time. If you are doing japa, the japa has to be continuous and constant. How can you do japa of 5-6 things? If you are taking mantra as a serious sadhana, first of all, you should learn from somebody who knows how to initiate you. Somebody who knows who is the devta of the mantra, who is the rishi of the mantra, how is it to be chanted, what are the rules. Most people don't even know. If you ask them what is the devta of the mantra, what is the rishi of the mantra, they don't know. You should learn all this from somebody qualified and who has got the adhikar, the adhikaram, the right, the authority to transmit that into you, and then the mantra starts. Most people unfortunately get these mantra compilation books and then they pick and choose as they feel is appropriate, or mantras for this purpose. All right, here this is one, and then they don't even follow. They don't even follow the rules on how many times to do the mantra. If you're doing japa, of course you are supposed to do it constantly. You're not supposed to stop no matter what. This is not such an easy game as people think, because most people are actually attracted to mantra by the supposed simplicity of it. All you have to do is keep chanting. Yes, of course, but it's not that simple. There are multiple uh, observances to be taken care of. I suppose it doesn't really cause any great damage, because if you're doing 5-6 mantras, all that happens is nothing happens. But at least nothing bad happens. That no mess is landed into because you're doing mantra, and you develop a certain habit of at least articulating and thinking some words of power, and some, you're not saying abuses, and you're not, at least you're saying some good. But still, this bewilders me. How can people do this, and how are they allowed to do this by the teachers? One, and it's constant. They always give me this whole laundry list of mantras that they're practicing. What? Because if you are really doing a mantra for whatever reason, if it is an authentic, powerful mantra within a yogic tradition, all your 9 areas of life, I am whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving and harmonious, rich and young and happy, should be covered in that. A real mantra should bring about the transformation in all the dimensions of life. But I'm afraid people don't have the patience, or they don't have the trust, probably a mixture of both. And so they have this multiple thing with the mantras. That is one problem. Then it's not like if you're doing mantra japa, you don't do puja. Of course, you can do puja. How many different kinds of puja will you do? If you're going to do puja, it means you're interacting with a rupa, you're interacting with a devta, a form. Have you seen the average puja space? There is like a whole supermarket of divinity there, choose. you know, you know, okay, now if the whole family has got it, fine. The husband has one, the wife has one, the kids have one, the in-laws gifted one, which you cannot say no. One is remained in your family. On your last birthday, somebody gifted to you. So I understand all those things. But if you are doing puja, and you are doing puja to a rupam, to a form, to an aspect of God, again, stick to that one. Don't in the morning you do Ganpati, in the afternoon you do, and then in the evening, or depending on the festival season. It's Ganpati time, so let's do a Ganpati puja. It's Navratri time, so let's do Navratri puja. It's Shivratri, so let's do some Mahamrityunjaya. It doesn't work that way. In the movie Ghostbusters, they keep saying, don't cross the streams. Yes, those proton packs that they have. So, in life, in yoga, as in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams, damn it. you know? See, you cannot do a mantra of one devta and then do a puja of another devta. Okay, something like the Gayatri, which is like a meta mantra. It is beyond all forms. You can do the Gayatri and you can do a puja also. There is not a problem there. That is not, the streams don't cross. They are not counter-indicated. You cannot do the Mahamrityunjaya and then do some other Devta ka puja. Then it has to be Shiva. It doesn't work. You see, you are sending energy in one stream. You're sending energy through the puja stream. Fine, that is great. Ramakrishna Paramahansa achieved everything just by doing puja. Just by doing Murti Puja, he achieved everything. That's great. There is nothing wrong with that. But you cannot then send in another stream which is coming from a different place or a different source. I have people, they have pictures of great masters. They have again another great collection. It is like you have Gauguin and Cézanne and Modigliani, and you have all of them. But that doesn't work. You cannot simultaneously have 200 masters on your puja space and say they are all helping me. No, because all of them help you, all their Shakti flows from their particular dimension, their particular channel, their particular parampara, and again you have created a traffic jam. You have clogged up matters. You cannot draw, and you cannot draw from wildly different people. Somebody is a Vedanti, he has a particular way. You cannot at the same time put up a Vedanti and put up an extreme Bhakta and say, oh, both of them are blessing me. None of them are blessing you. You are blessing yourself with your stupidity and your delusion. That is another problem. Hatha Yoga, normally there is no issue. You can do Hatha Yoga and mix it with any kind of additional spiritual practice. Not because that is also not crossing the streams, actually it is, but because today there are very, very, very few Hatha Yoga schools which still has the Shakti. The Hatha Yoga as a parampara is very rare today. There are very, very few places where they can initiate you into the asanas, and the asanas itself become a practice. The asanas itself become a sadhana. In most cases, they are just teaching you flexibility and better health, which is a great gain, no doubt, but it is not a sadhana in itself. So normally, but if it is a really hardcore, authentic Hatha Yoga parampara, that time also you should not be mixing it up with anything else, because just the asana would be enough. But I think the greatest danger is when people start mixing up mudras with all their other practices, so they are doing japa and they are holding the mudra also simultaneously, because they don't have enough time to do both separately. Now mudra is dangerous in that the Shakti is still there. Even if you are not learning from a person who is in the tradition or in a parampara, just the fact that you hold the mudra very often activates the person to some extent, to some degree. Now you have created an activation, you have created a flow of energy with the mudra, and you are also doing something that is cancelling it out. Mudras should not be done, this is the greatest danger. For many, many years, people have been telling me, write a book on mudras, and I have been holding back, because mudras should not be done under supervision, and the minute I put the book, people will start doing it on their own. Unless you can clearly monitor the person, it's pretty dangerous to teach people how to do mudras, because there are so many rules in mudras, there are so many rules. How much time do you hold it? How do you increase the stage in which all this is just not known, it is just put in the book. There is some picture, sometimes even the picture that is shown is wrong. There is an illustration of the mudra and that is wrong. But this bizarre mix of practices, and the problem is of course the new age. The new age has come into this thing where you wear crystals and you wear malas and you do chanting and you do drumming and you do everything. I'm not saying anything much about those processes, though I have my doubts as to their efficacy, but fine, if that's what you want to do, you do. Just don't do this mix and match. First of all, a genuine spiritual process, a genuine transformative process always has rules. Your choice is, does this suit me or not? If it doesn't suit you, there is no problem, you don't have to do it. But if you are doing it, then please follow the rules. The rules and the regulations have been established by very brilliant people who have seen all the nuances. Now we know in our own breaths what all 8 spiritual breaths, what all are the problems. Just now we've had an example. Let me do it twice a day. If once a day is fun, then twice a day is even better. Why not 3 times a day then? Or 5 times. Or that another person, I told this story also, another person did all the breaths 49 times. Fortunately, the person was doing them wrong, which is why they didn't expire. Or own variations. This is the other thing, that you learn for 3 weeks and on the 4th week you have started your own wrinkle on these matters. You have started your own unique input, you have started your own dynamic, let us take it to the next level. It is the nature of our society today, where everything is discardable. Everything is new improved. So we think even these processes are new improved. These processes have been honed and polished, and until now they are as perfect as can humanly be expected. It's very difficult to take a traditional yogic process and find something new in it. They have already done everything that is possible to be done. And okay, maybe you are one of those rare geniuses that comes along once in 1,000 years and you can really break through to some other level. At least learn what the hell is being taught first, no? At least demonstrate some mastery on the process that you are learning. Your learning is not complete, you still don't know all the nuances, all the consequences, and already you are experimenting. Everybody thinks that we will be the one, like reverse swing was invented in bowling and the reverse sweep was invented. We will be the one who will invent that new breakthrough in the yogic process. Sorry. I mean, the kind of horror stories that I have to tell. Somebody saw one of my videos, do a process for 90 days and see what happens. So the person does the process for 90 days and then stops. Like, did I? Did I say to stop? No. And I'm accessible. I answer. In spite of that, in many places, the people, the teacher, the guru is not accessible. So people are left to their own devices. I get a whole lot of that. People who don't know what to do, they are stuck now. But this is insane, man. Anytime you meet a teacher, you go and you learn the process, and then you're practicing all of them simultaneously, or you're practicing Isha Kriya Monday, some other process Tuesday. I'm not making this up. I know somebody who does 5 different processes each day of the week. And the person has written to me in despair and agony because, this is like insanity. And who are these people? But, we live in such grand times. Today there is something called online Diksha. I have no idea what that means. It just blows all the fuses in my brain. But apparently it is something. You can just log on and you can be initiated. you can be accepted formally as a disciple online. This is what yoga has come to. Or rather, this is what people are willing to settle for. Because all these things are a nuance of comfort, all these things are a nuance of convenience. To actually physically meet the teacher and get the switch turned on, problematic. That other fellow is offering for free. That other fellow is offering online. But how does this help? I keep wondering, how can this be tolerated? Why are teachers not, recently I put up on the Sangha page, somebody wanting to be my disciple, and I said, till now you have not shown commitment and discipline to any teacher. What's the big deal with me? Why will you treat me any different, and why should I waste my time and my effort with you? That kind of jolted that poor chap. I mean, nobody ever gave him that answer. Till now they were like, oh, number is increasing, new disciple come. And those kind of disciples. And we had another systems collector come here and create havoc. How does this survive? How does this mentality survive that I can do many things and that will somehow all work synergistically? Nobody in an authentic parampara will ever encourage you to do this. Is it that Indian rice plate mentality that we have all these little things and we can mix and match it? The thali mindset, is that it? It bewilders me completely. I don't know what to say. I'm like, Am I going to spend the rest of my life telling people, don't do that, don't mix it, don't cross the streams, don't do multiple sadhanas simultaneously? Jesus, it's just, yeah, I guess, it's a matter of building awareness, but the more we try, the more the new age encourages all this foolishness. New cage rather, whatever that is called. Still, I guess. So that's the reason I wanted to do this talk, because at least somewhere there must be a record where somebody said, don't do that. You're not going to get anywhere by doing that. Like some yogi must have a public record of that. So yeah, in yoga as in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. It seems funny when you the kind of messes that people get into because they do this, the kind of physical, mental and emotional danger that they put themselves into when they do this kind of foolishness, then it won't be so funny, because some of them do really strange practices. They're doing all of them simultaneously. And especially if you're fooling around with pranayama, if you're fooling around with breathing. Mantras, normally you don't get into such trouble, but people nowadays learn all kinds of weird mantras also. Mantras that are uncontrollable. Mantras that should be done under very specific, tight, controlled circumstances of diet, place, everything. And they're doing all these strange, weird ass mantras. There is no other word for it. Then when trouble breaks through, oh, this is all the fault of yoga. No, it's not the fault of yoga, it's your own fault. And people are doing all kinds of weird ritualistic pujas, usually Vamachara Tantra kind of stuff, again, which I have no problem with any of that, but all must be done under supervision, all must be done under tight control and tight discipline. Somebody learns something off the net and they start experimenting, and then they go haywire, and then the fault is again of yoga. This is ridiculous. And it's much worse for us because we are not ritualistic. The whole Arya Yoga is not a ritualistic thing. We are not asking, just asking for very simple things, very simple and basic parameters to be followed. Even that is too much for people, then what can be done? Anyways, I guess I just needed it out there. I just needed it out there as, look, it has been said. It's not like the yogis have not said this. Somebody has said it. Everybody says it, but I guess they all give up in despair because they realize people won't listen. But at least it needs to be there. So I'm saying it once more. Don't mix up sadhanas. One at a time. One process at a time. Don't start mixing them up and hoping to get somewhere. You'll only, if you're lucky, you will stagnate. If you're not so lucky, you will actually create trouble. Sarvam Shivamaya.